Welcome back. Our final tipping point tonight, bullying in the age of Donald Trump. That's trending on Twitter because of an article written by this woman, Emily Bazelon, of the New York Times Magazine. The New York Times, by the way, they never did apologize for the slanted propaganda they produced during the campaigns that they actually called journalism. No. If you read their so-called apology letter, it actually says, let me read it to you. Did Donald Trump's sheer unconventionality lead us and other news outlets, they can't even take responsibility for their own actions, lead us and other news outlets to underestimate his support among American voters? They go on to say, we believe we reported on both candidates fairly during the presidential campaign. Well, where I grew up, we were taught just because you believe it doesn't make it true. Maybe somebody needs to tell the New York Times, Santa Claus, that isn't real either. For the New York Times, it's all about themselves, their image, their pride. Anyway, their staff writer, Emily Bazelon, dropped a doozy this morning called Bullying in the Age of Trump. This is what she said. Kids who are in religious or ethnic minorities or are gay or disabled are more likely to be bullied in school than other kids. Their point of difference can be a point of vulnerability. Now the country has elected a man who threaded racist, xenophobic, and misogynistic messages and mockery of disabled people through his campaign. Donald J. Trump's victory gives others license to do the same. There are already signs that during his presidency, the moral values that schools and parents have been helping to instill in young people, empathy and upstanding, a term schools use that means looking out for fellow students who are being mistreated, will be in danger of eroding. Okay, well that's a lot to unravel, so let's get to it. First of all, look at the bullies we've seen so far in the past 8 days since the American people elected Donald J. Trump as president of the United States. These bullies attacked police officers. These bullies burned businesses. These bullies smashed windows and hurled Molotov cocktails. They knocked Make America Great Again hats off people's heads. These bullies beat an elderly white man to the ground for the way he voted. Yet Ms. Bazelon reported in her article on a student who allegedly yelled, "White power," but neglected to include the mobs of millennials in the street who are defacing monuments with cries of "Die, whites, die." Well, in case she caught Hillary Clinton's case of, "Oh, I forgot, I can't recall," let me remind you.
Just do rallies. We have to fight back. There will be casualties on both sides. There will be, because people have to die to make a change in this world.
Remember what liberals say, love trumps hate. And if that doesn't work, escalate, intimidate, and silence. Half of these vandalizing, rioting, fire-starting, cop-hating liberal snowflakes rejected their right to vote. And liberals talk about refusing to normalize Trump? Let's be very clear here. Bullying is not about politics. Bullying is about parenting. These snowflakes lighting fires and smashing windows, well, their parents ought to be ashamed of themselves. You can act like bullying is a social construct, blame it on microaggressions, condemn triggers, and crusade for safe spaces all you want. But we all know that's not the solution. The problem is parents who don't teach their kids right from wrong, schools that shame white kids for white privilege, and liberals who preach tolerance but practice discrimination against conservatives, Christians, and women who choose to stay home with their kids. There is indeed bullying in the age of Trump, and so far, it's entirely, unequivocally from the sore losers on the left. And that's my final point tonight. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. You know by now I read all your tweets. Also, if you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. Remember, we're coming to you every night at 9 p.m. Eastern now, so don't miss us tomorrow at 9. And until then, have a good night.